viewing the Chesapeake in Baltimore. There's an interesting sign of the times. Domino Sugar. There it is, in the Essex Rose 16th century tea house. So
now I really want to talk about sugar, because sugar changed the world. Think about this. Sugar was a little crop in the far corners of Southeast Asia. What happened? Some British person had a cup of tea, put a little sugar in it. And that changed the world, because that meant that suddenly now people in Britain here were looking for sugar, looking for sources of sugar, looking to the ability to trade sugar, and that led to all sorts of new places. Again, Christopher Columbus, 1493, second voyage to the Dominican Republic. Hola.
We have a ranch here.
No, gracias.
We have a ranch and we have a nice pool and river around here in 2 minutes.
Okay, I'll talk to my wife and we'll decide.
We have a buffet too. Very $10 a buffet.
Okay, are you open for lunch?
For lunch, yes.
Okay.
It's around here.
Okay, we'll be back in 2 hours.
Okay.
I got that too.
So,
I just got that.
bueno. So this is a piece of sugar cane. I just pulled it off the ground. I didn't want to steal anybody's crops, but you know, sugar cane actually, it's actually quite interesting, because sugar cane back 500 BC was probably only grown in Polynesia, Indonesia, something like that. Eventually made its way about 400 BC to India, and of course from there it's made it all the way across the world. Here I am in Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic, and of course it was Columbus on voyage number 2 who brought sugarcane to the New World in 1493. And what we have here is, and what happened with that was, of course, it also brought slavery to the New World, because instead of small farms selling sugarcane, we now had big haciendas, big ranches making it, and they needed slavery. So that whole molasses to rum to slaves, that whole bit here, because sugarcane was turned into molasses. So it has driven our economy ever since, if you were to Google it, you'd see the quote was, ever since the first British person put some sugar in their tea, that has changed the world. And sugarcane, it's now grown pretty much everywhere. There's a place called Sugarland, Texas, of sugar country in the U.S., and of course all in the South, a lot of slaves with sugarcane. But the Caribbean has been well known for it. That shaped the whole Caribbean is sugarcane.
ethanol is made from Brazilian, cheaper than all the other gases.
Yeah, but look how cheap it all is. That's in reality.
Yes, but it's probably per liter, not per gallon.
The Europeans stopped taking our sugar. We closed the whole industry. So we depend now on Guatemala sugar. We don't have no sugar. We have the cane. This is just a little show cane. Actually, where these are plants, these will not grow on the island for us. If we have fields that produce these kind of cane, the short joints, we will burn the field and get rid of those canes. Our joints actually be longer joints. When I speak about joints, it is from here to here. It must be longer. The longer the joint, the much more juice, much more sugar. The shorter the joint, less juice, less sugar. This is where the pots were in, where they used to boil. That's the steamer. Steamer was put in place just around 1800 to help generate electricity and everything. I will show you where it was used over there.
And this is the boil the cane here.
Yeah, this is the boiler there. Okay.
This is the old sugar factory, huh?
before tourism, sugar was. We used to grow a lot of sugar cane, process that sugar right here and send it to England. But that was phased out. Sugar was phased out after the oil crisis back in the 70s.
So since the 1970s, this has been
this
closed
was
in Antigua.
Back in 1881, thereabout.
Does Antigua have any sugar cane anymore?
We still have sugarcane, but not in any large quantity. We find that persons may plant a few of the sugarcane in their backyard. That is just for the personal use, for sucking the juice from the...
So this is the Hope Farm sugar plantation, the windmills here in Antigua. And of course the windmills didn't exist while the slaves did all the work.
To get out the juice, and the juice will flow down. They have something like a catch meter, like a tray to catch the juice that comes down here. It was turned by up that there would be a windmill, but before emancipation, it was done by slave labor.
Slave labor.
So they would have pushed, they have a thing like that with a wheel, and they would be pushing that around.
So the slaves all did it, but...
Yeah, they push that around.
Because the slaves were no longer being paid zero, they had an increase in their wage, and what do? They replace it with technology. So they have a windmill here instead of they using the slave labor like they used to use.
All of the sugar cane juice and then a boiling process. But we here in Barbados actually produce the brown sugar.
You produce brown sugar here in Barbados.
Yeah.
What now? Do you have your own sugar producing factory here, or is the cane shipped out elsewhere?
Yeah, there's actually one sugar factory here on the island. There were a few of them, but there's only one working sugar factory here on the island right now.
And you said how many tons go to England?
About 20,000 tons we usually ship over to the European market.
20,000 tons, wow.
If you look straight ahead, that's the sugar factory straight ahead over there.
That's a sugar factory, huh? Okay.
And even in Australia, we have sugar cane because everybody across the world
area,
needs sugar.
Queensland, northern Queensland in Australia, and it's beautiful where the mountains meet the sea. And one of the things that they're interested in here is sugar. That's where they've started all the sugar farms up in the, despite the fact that this is a huge rainforest area, early settlers took to making this sugar capital of Australia.
Now, the Europeans don't grow sugar cane, so what do? They have sugar beets and a lot of other things. And to discuss that, we're going to move to Ireland. Again, I'm at the Famine Memorial here in Dublin, where they're talking a lot about the potato crop and the potato blight that had wiped out much of the potato crop back in the late 1840s, early 1850s. And so they learned to substitute different goods rather than just making potatoes. They did crop rotation, and they expanded their inventory of goods. One of the goods that they went to was sugar beets, and for a long time Ireland was producing a lot of sugar beets, which is used to make sugar. But something happened, and they're no longer, I've been across the island here, they're no longer producing sugar beets. The question is why, and for that I've got to go to another country. So I'm here at the site of the Waterloo Battle. This is where Napoleon was defeated, but that's not what I'm watching here. Down in the fields we see sugar beets. That's important because the European Union paid off the Irish sugar beet farmers to stop growing sugar beets, which of course, what's that going to do? That's going to limit the supply and increase the prices of sugar across Europe. And now the Irish sugar beet farmers are wishing they were still in the industry, which unfortunately they're not, and they're trying to get back into it now, but they've lost all their supply.